Welcome to the Self-Reliant Steward podcast. I'm your host, Damia Shimon. I am a financial coach for teens and the founder of Harmony Living, a business where I provide resources and education to help Latter-day Saint parents teach their teenagers to become self-reliant and wise stewards of what the Lord has blessed them with. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Self-Reliant Steward podcast. I'm your host, Damia Shimon. Today's money trivia question is, how much money did the wealthiest American in history give over the course of his lifetime? John D. Rockefeller gave away $540 million, and that's not adjusted for inflation, before his death in 1937 at the age of 97. In today's dollars, in 2024, this would be over $15 billion. Isn't that amazing? That's a lot of money. Can you tell what today's episode is about from that question? We are continuing our discussion of the mistakes teens make with money and how to help them avoid or overcome these mistakes. Today we are talking about mistake number 5 out of 8, and that mistake is not giving. Now, if your first thought is that teenagers have nothing to give, let me see if I can open your eyes to a few things. Giving does not just involve money. We can give of our resources, which includes more than just money, our time, and our talents. Even if a teenager doesn't have any money right now, they have time and talents that they can give to helping other people. Teenagers can also start earning money that they can then give a portion of. If you've been listening to my podcast from the beginning, you will already know that I highly recommend encouraging your children to start earning money as soon as they can start working. Now, why do I consider not giving to be a mistake? Well, when we don't give, we are not keeping the Lord's commandments, and we are not keeping our baptismal covenant. The Lord commands us to pay tithing and to help the poor. Part of the covenant we make at baptism is that we will bear one another's burdens, which includes caring for the poor and needy. Another reason that not giving is a mistake is illustrated in 2 Corinthians 9, verses 6 and 7. Which states that, quote, "He which soweth sparingly shall reap also sparingly," end quote. When we withhold our resources or our help, we are sowing sparingly, and we are not going to receive the blessings the Lord promises to those who keep his commandments. The verses continue, quote, "And he which soweth bountifully shall reap also bountifully. Every man according as he purposeth in his heart, so let him give, not grudgingly or of necessity, for God loveth a cheerful giver," end quote. These verses show us that there are blessings that come to us when we give, a bounty of blessings, in fact. Now, I want to tell you a story. My mom cleaned out her closet recently of everything that was old or worn and donated the clothes that no longer fit. Her budget was too tight to replace anything, but a few weeks later, my mom received an overwhelming amount of clothes from her sister, who was also cleaning out her own closet. After my mom filled her closet, she ended up donating 2 big black garbage bags full of clothes. This experience reminds me of a quote in Leslie Householder's book, Hidden Treasures. She says, "God pays more than yard sale shoppers." Serving others also helps us look outside of ourselves and not be so focused on our own problems. When I was a service missionary a few years ago, I taught a short version of my money management workshop that is now called Steward's Quest. While teaching that workshop to a group of youth, I was not thinking about my own situation of not having any money. I was focused on helping them gain some of the knowledge they need to become wise stewards of what they then had and would have in the future. The Lord's promise throughout the Book of Mormon is that if we keep his commandments, we will prosper. That's another blessing of giving. One of his commandments is to give to the poor. Deuteronomy 15:7 reads, quote, "If there be among you a poor man of one of thy brethren within any of thy gates in thy land, which the Lord thy God giveth thee, thou shalt not harden thine heart, nor shut thine hand from thy poor brother," end quote. And President Gordon B. Hinckley said, quote, "We hope that through the payment of liberal fast offerings, there will be more than enough to provide for the needs of the less fortunate. If every member of this church observed the fast and contributed generously, the poor and the needy, not only of the church, but many others as well, would be blessed and provided for. Every giver would be blessed in body and spirit, and the hungry would be fed, the naked clothed according to need. End quote. If everyone gives to the poor, everyone can prosper. There are many other benefits of giving. Giving them their time while in high school can help teenagers when applying for college and scholarships. Service can help children learn to work. Relationship skills can be developed through acts of service. And joy is one of the greatest blessings of serving others. Christ-like attributes are also cultivated through giving. Charity, gratitude, kindness, and selflessness are some of those attributes. In his journal, Wilford Woodruff wrote, quote, "I will exhort all my young friends to not cherish selfishness, but if you have any, get rid of it as soon as possible. Be generous and noble-hearted, kind to your parents, brothers, sisters, and playmates. Never contend with them, but try to make peace whenever you can. Whenever you are blessed with any good thing, be willing to share it with others. By cultivating these principles while you are young, you will lay a foundation to do much good throughout your lives, and you will be beloved and respected of the Lord and all good men." End quote. Giving helps us grow into the person the Lord desires us to become. Now that we know many of the blessings that come from giving, what can we do to help teenagers to give of their time, talents, and resources? Suggestion number 1, give to God. This is tithing. Teach your children about tithing and offerings and be an example to them of a faithful tithe payer. President Nelson recently shared that, quote, "Becoming a full tithe payer changed me. That is when I learned that paying tithing is all about faith, not money. As I became a full tithe payer, the windows of heaven began to open for me. I attribute several subsequent professional opportunities to our faithful payment of tithes. Paying tithing requires faith, and it also builds faith in God and his beloved Son." End quote. I personally know that the Lord helped me to graduate from BYU, Idaho, debt-free with several $1,000s in the bank because I am a full tithe payer. Do you want to know what the wealthiest American of all time said about tithing? John D. Rockefeller said, quote, "I never would have been able to tithe the first $1,000,000 I ever made if I had not tithed my first salary, which was $1.50 per week." End quote. And according to Wikipedia, quote, "Rockefeller's charitable giving began with his first job as a clerk at age 16 when he gave 6% of his earnings to charity, as recorded in his personal ledger. By the time he was 20, his charity exceeded 10% of his income. Much of his giving was church-related." End quote. Suggestion number 2, give to your fellow human beings. This is service and giving of resources. Giving your kids opportunities to practice while they are young will help them to cultivate a generous heart. One idea to help your children is, if one of your children wants to give a gift, have them use their own money to purchase that gift. And if they don't have any money yet, have them do something to earn the money. A simple service idea for the whole family is to volunteer at your local food pantry. If you need other service ideas, check out websites like Just Serve. They have great ideas on them. When I was 12, my family and I made cookies at the Ronald McDonald House for families with children in the hospital for them to enjoy. It was fun to spend time with my family serving others who are experiencing a difficult time in their lives. When I'm driving and I see individuals on the street corners with signs asking for help, I feel uncomfortable about the idea of stopping and giving them money. One simple thing that we could do instead would be to put together lunch sacks to give them to those that are in need. Suggestion number 3, give to yourself. Financially, this is saving, which will be a topic for another episode. I will just say that giving to oneself is just as important as giving to the Lord and giving to others, so don't skip it. Giving to ourselves also means doing self-care. If you don't feel yourself, you won't have anything to give others. So it's important to not only do that with ourselves, but also teach our children to fill themselves so that they can have room to give to others. Remember the increased feelings of kindness and generosity at Christmas time? We can bring these feelings into the rest of the year by choosing to give of our time, talents, and resources, and teaching children to do the same. What things have you done to help your children learn the importance of giving? Sure, I'd love to hear them. See you in the next episode.